Arsenal been on that kind of like brutal run, haven't they, with the titles slipping away to a certain extent? But they did have that win against Newcastle at the weekend. What kind of shape do you see them as in right now?
You know what? Yeah, we're gonna obviously. Thanks for reminding me what happened on the final. No, I mean you lose against Man City. You lose against Man City again, as we all know. You rectified that the other day against Newcastle. You had to do what you had to do. Now you need to see if Man City is going to respond. It was always going to be difficult, but like the jury will always be out on Arsenal up until they do it. I keep on saying at one point I believe in what I see, and people still didn't see that Arsenal team go over the line. So people are going to doubt it. This is why always people think that if Man City comes closer to Arsenal, they're always going to believe that Man City will do it because they've done it. I really don't wish that Man City can do it. I wish, as a fan, Arsenal can do it. But again, convince me.
Do you believe it, though? Do you believe that they can do it?
I believe in what I see.
That's a different question,
I'm going to say I believe it.
So you've seen it. I think in the league, after watching that game last night, PSG and Bayern, I think one of those two teams win it. In the league, I still think there might be slip-ups. But if you ask me about pressure, I would say Man City would do it. If they win all the games, I expect Man City to win on goal difference. With Arsenal, the problem is they let the door open, and they shouldn't have let the door open. I think that is the difference. So if you ask me, do I believe they could do it? Do I believe it? Probably not in the Premier League. No, I think Man City will do it. Jamie?
We're a month away from deciding what Mikel Arteta is, and in a lot of people's eyes, he'll either be a genius in a month's time or he'll be a fraud.
Hey!
And it will. That's the nature of it. I don't agree with either of those statements in terms of how he'll be perceived, but that's a fact. It's crunch time for Mikel Arteta now. And in this next month, I think it'll almost decide where a lot of people feel he is as a manager, because he, as Thierry said, he hasn't yet got across the line, but he has done a brilliant job. But the next month will define Mikel Arteta's time as Arsenal manager.
We're going to do another one of those quotes on the big screen with Jamie's quote of the night. I'm going to say it 4 times tonight.
I have some of the moms that will do my neighborhood. That's a proper statement.
A genius or a fraud? It's a bit strong, that, Jamie.
I'd said that's not my opinion of him as a manager, but that's how people will perceive it.
I guess one of the things that we've said is interesting about this tie is that Atletico now are all entirely focused on Champions League, because they already know that they're going to finish within those Champions League spots in La Liga, so they can fully afford to focus on Champions League. Not the case for Arsenal, who now have to play in the league at the weekend, and then this second leg against Atletico next week. How will they manage that burden, that load?
I don't see an issue, personally. Jamie doesn't agree, thinks that the Fulham game should be an issue in between the two. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy and pleasant, because the game against Newcastle was very difficult. But you have the squad to be able to deal with that, so deal with it.
You think differently?
I just think Thierry's right in that they have got the squad. Now, if this was in November, you make a few changes. I just think the stakes are so high. There's no way Mikel Arteta's going to be making changes in these games. I'd be very surprised. Now, the reason maybe he's in this situation right now, where a lot of players do look a little bit fatigued, is because he hasn't made those changes earlier on, maybe when the stakes weren't as high. But right now, I just think, if they draw against Fulham, they'll think that they've lost the league, really. So I think, if Mikel Arteta had already won the league, they'd probably make changes against Fulham, and they'd really go all in this. I'm not talking about sort of 7 or 8 changes, but maybe 2 or 3 big players, and they think, OK, we'll keep you on the bench. I just think the stakes are so high for them in the Premier League and the Champions League, but the Premier League probably slightly more so as well, because they've been so long without it.
Can I just ask you was going for the league a couple of times with Liverpool, didn't you? The years when you was winning when you won the Champions League.
But we were in the Champions League.
But how did that differ when you won the Champions League and then the league? How did that differ? In terms of Arsenal now, they're going for both, aren't they? Or in the running for both.
Yeah.
But obviously they need to win one. Would you say Arsenal fans, Thierry, would prefer to win the Premier League over the Champions League?
We're not in that bracket of preferring. We didn't win anything for a very long time. You leave that to people that Man City can prefer stuff, not us. You give me something. You cannot be that cocky to say we prefer this or that. Team that often win can be cocky. I want something. I don't know what it's going to be.
In terms of the fans, what would they prefer?
I'm one. I don't prefer anything. Personally, like I said to you, the league, because you can have a thing. But we cannot be sitting here and go like, let's see what we prefer. Man City can do that because that's what they're about. Mm-hmm. I'll take anything I'm as a fan. But now, if I analyze the game and everything, I want the league a bit more. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you can't be sitting here and saying it will be this, it will be this, it will be that. But when you go for the title and the Champions League and the Cup, that's when it's difficult. Mm-hmm. That's when it's really extra. And if you go back to my time, I don't like to do eras and stuff. We had 18 players. 17? Yes. How many do they have? To play on a lot of, you know, you were
utilize your squad, yeah.
Yeah, but on a lot of competition, you out of the FA Cup. Obviously, we know that you were not in the, you know, you were not in the semis, and so you can deal with that.
Would you rotate then if you were Arteta, or would you make a few changes? What I'm saying is, I know they've got the numbers, but you think
the rotation is, as you said before, for me personally, I've been in that situation where I didn't play against Man United when we had to play Chelsea back-to-back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man United and you guys to obviously in the Liga that was a tough game. I didn't play against Man United in the semi-final. Didn't play at all. So rotation cannot be for me more than one or two. Last year, Paris Saint-Germain on the run of the treble, okay, more often than not, it was Desiré Doué or Barcola. If not, it was the same team. So are they superhuman? How can they play the treble? And people tell me, oh, yeah, but the league, that's your league. I've done it at Barcelona. We won the treble. Man United won the treble. Inter won the treble. You know, Bayern have won the treble. You know, it can be done. So what I'm trying to say to you is, I don't often like the excuses thing. You have a game in front of you, play it. You play the team that you play, that's on you. You know, nobody remembers that I didn't play against Man United, right? That goal that when we lost against Man United in semi-final, of the FA Cup. Nobody remember. I remember, obviously, because I didn't play. But nobody remembers that. There's no excuses. You have a team. As I said to you, put money on the table. You have two squads. And I hope, as an Arsenal fan, that we can win. You understand what I mean? But then you can't be sitting here, you want to be in the semi-final of the Champions League. You want to be battling for the title. Embrace it, battle for it, and let's see at the end, like I always say, what's going to happen.
Micah, talking about what's going to happen at the end of the season, throughout the night, at some points you've said, I think City will win the league. You've also said you think PSG or Bayern will win the Champions League. So you believe that they'll end up trophyless, Arsenal?
Yeah, I only think that because of pressure. I think Arsenal, when these guys have been talking about Arsenal, and I've defended Arsenal a lot because in the Champions League phase, they finished top. And yes, they're not scoring as much set pieces, although they scored a set piece against Newcastle. I was thinking Arsenal was just going to get over the line. However, when they opened up that door for Man City, now it's not just about the football. It's about experience, and it's about who can handle the pressure the most. When we were going for the league, we went ahead of Man United, and then we couldn't deal with the pressure at the time. They went ahead of us. We chased, and that's why I always say with Jamie, I prefer to chase because I've done that. I've done that as a player, and I feel like there was no pressure. Look at the last game of the season, QPR. That game, we should have beat QPR 3-4, 5-0. But it didn't go that way because of the pressure. And why I say Man City will win the league is because I think they're experienced in dealing with this, especially at this time of the season. In the Champions League, anything can happen. Thierry mentioned it for a while now in terms of defensively. They're the best, aren't they? They are the best. But it's just, can they get over the line going forward? And that might be a set piece. And they could win the Champions League in that manner. But at the league, I think Man City, at this time of the season, go and win it.